Hey yogi friends, Kit Kat here, perfectly imperfect yogis. Today we are going to go like a lizard, flat out drinking. It's a bad yoga joke, right? I love a bad yoga joke. Anyway, I love a lizard. We're going to play with Lizard Lunge and some of its variations. Lizard Lunge is fantastic for strengthening through the front of legs. You're also going to open up into the hip flexors and into the groin and strengthen through and stretch on some occasions the inside of the thigh. So let's get started with Lizard Lunge. We are going to start in downward facing dog. It's probably the easiest place to go, and my recommendation would be to warm up with some sun salutations prior to coming into these shapes so you can go a little deeper. Take an inhale breath, lift through the right leg. We're going to step that right leg on the outside of our right. First variation of Lizard Lunge, the foot is outside the hands are planted underneath the shoulders. You want to extend through that back leg, lifting the knee and lifting up onto the toes. The front foot is well grounded into the earth and that front knee is tracking in towards the shoulder or the elbow. Draw the belly into the spine and pull that right hip back in space so you can really feel that deep stretch into Lizard Lunge. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper here, you can start crawling forward like a lizard and sit down, sink down a little bit deeper into the stretch. So there are variations that you can take here. If this becomes challenging, you can rest on a block or you can rest your head on a block, and you can even walk that foot out a little bit wider just to give you a little bit more space in the hips, keeping the belly lifted and finding strength through that back leg, but dropping into the hips and really feeling that stretch through that left hip flexor. So I'm going to come back up onto the hands, turn my right foot out, lie onto the knife edge of my left foot and come into lazy lizard. This is hardly a lazy shape though. It's a really fantastic stretch down the side body. I'm reaching and stretching away. I'm on the knife edge of my right foot and I can feel that opening through my right hip flexor. Coming back to center, dropping down onto my left knee. I'm going to reach my right arm forward. Inhale, lift up and over and come into a little bit of a lizard come quad stretch here. So you don't have to drop down too deep into this stretch. First off, I'm finding that stretch through the front of my left leg in my quadricep. Secondly, if I want to play a little bit in the space, I can drop down, come onto that front thigh and deepen that stretch into the groin. And if I want to play a little bit more, I can turn my right foot out and start to find a little bit of a back bend there as well. And if you want or you can't reach this back foot, simply use a strap or a towel and just play in this, or grab a buddy and get them to give you a hand. Opening up. Release that foot back down to the earth. Tuck into the toes. Bring the foot back to parallel to the hands. Step into plank. Press back, downward facing dog. And then we get to play on the other side. So inhale, lift the left leg. You're going to see that left leg step just outside of the left hand, coming into our first variation of Lizard Lunge. And then we're going to drop into our second variation of Lizard Lunge, walking those hands forward, coming all the way down. I'm tracking that left knee in towards the shoulder. So here, if you want to play a little bit, you can get that left arm underneath and find a little bit of extension through that front leg. Drop back down into that toe. Play here a little bit, strengthening into the glutes and stretching into the quadricep. We're going to come into our lazy lizard, rolling onto the knife edge of that left foot, of the right foot, rolling that left knee out, lifting up and out of the shoulder, but dropping the hip so you get that lovely side body stretch. Ooh, connecting to the breath, bringing that hand back, dropping the back knee down to the earth, reaching forward and giving the body a lovely stretch here as you inhale, lift up nice and high, giving yourself a lovely opportunity to reach for that back foot. I'm going to start to step my left foot forward a little bit and really get a nice quad stretch in here. And then if I want to go a little bit deeper into the hips, releasing out of that deep quad stretch and just letting my hips surrender down to the earth. Turning out my left foot, rolling onto the knife edge of the foot, pressing that foot back into the hand and finding a little back bend here, or you can drop down onto the elbow, find that foot again, and find that little baby back bend here. A little twist, bringing the hands back, track that foot back to parallel, lift up into the back leg, play in plank, press back, downward facing dog. And there you have it, like a lizard. We have loads of great lizards here in Bali. In fact, one of my favorite ones is called a tokay, and they're about this big, and they're a beautiful looking gecko. They've got really gecko-like suction cup fingers, and when they're calling out for a friend, you hear them kind of do this really throaty noise where they go and then 6 times, it's usually 6 times they go tokay, 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 and it's super cool, and you go, oh, you know that there's one of those geckos really close to you, and they're really, really loud. Anyway, that's my tutorial for today, my friends. I will see you soon.